Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to be giving a tutorial on how to make this card. And I actually have one of my son's teachers is expecting a baby, a girl, in August, and so I thought I would make her a little baby card, and it basically says congratulations, and you pull the tag out and it says on the birth of your beautiful baby. So let's get started. What you're going to need is, and I'm using chocolate chip by Stampin' Up! Cardstock here. You'll need a chocolate chip cardstock cut at 4 by 8.5. I'm using this pink designer paper, and I'm not quite sure which designer this is, but the pink matched perfectly. So you'll need a matting paper here, and this is 3 3/4 by 8 1/4. And the small piece of the pink designer paper is actually going to be 2 by 2 3/4. And then this is the tag pocket. And because it's not double-sided paper, I actually made this so that the tag pocket is actually designer paper all the way through, so you don't see that white backing. So you want to cut a piece out of 2 by 2 3/4 to top that off. And then these two designer papers here, and by the way, this is by Basic Gray, and it's the Oh Baby Girl collection. This piece up here is 2.5 by 3 1/4. And this piece here is 3 1/4 by 3 1/2. And then I'm going to change up my card a little bit. I'm actually going to use ribbon instead of the paper stitching. And these are cut at 3 1/4. Okay, and then you're going to need some papers. We're going to be doing some Distress Crackle paint to sort of grunge up this pink piece of paper because I just thought it was too plain. And then I'm actually using the Congratulations stamp set by Stampin' Up! It's actually called the Congrats set. I'm going to be using that. And then I have this cool ribbon that I got over at Michael's. We're going to be using that for the tag. It's a little cute little pastel pink color. And then you'll also need a tag punch. And then I'll be using my Tombow adhesive because I've been having problems with my AT gun. I got a really bad roll of tape, and that's the first time that's happened to me. And then we're going to be using Regal Rose Classic Ink by Stampin' Up! And then over here we're actually going to need a big bite. If you can see that, the big bite. And then I'll be using some pearls by Kaiser Scrapbook. And then we're going to need some mini glue dots and a little pink eyelet. I don't know if you saw that there. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm just going to grab some scrap paper and just kind of push this out of the way here so we have some space to work. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to grunge up this pink piece of cardstock because it's just sort of plain. So I'm just going to take the crackle paint, try to get as much off as I can because I really just want to have a really light coat. And I'm just going to kind of just, with very little pressure, just kind of brush it in one direction, up and down the cardstock. And I really just want a little bit of texture, so I'm not going to really color it up much here. And you want to make sure you take off as much paint off the brush as you can before you actually start painting, because you don't want a really heavy coat on your paper, because you really just want to grunge it up just a little bit. Oh, and by the way, completely forgot here, I actually distressed the edges of my paper using, got some paint on me here, using the Tim Holtz paper edge distresser. And I didn't do this piece here because I wanted to sort of show you how that works. So basically you just run the little micro blade that's in this tool across the paper. And it just sort of, I don't know if you can see that, if it's blurry, it sort of scrunches up or distresses the paper a bit, so it gives it that worn, torn look, which is actually pretty cool. Flip it over here so I get this tiny corner. But that's sort of the look that you get, which is actually really cool. So if you can see, the crackle paint dries pretty quick, so but if you can see how that really adds some dimension on the paper. So I'm going to set that aside and let that dry. Let's go ahead and work on the pocket of the card. So I'm taking the 2 3/4 by 6 piece of designer paper here, and I'm going to actually score it at 3. Okay, and then you're going to see when you fold it, just try to fold it correctly here, it should be just a little bit of a difference. Actually, it shouldn't because it's scored right in the middle. But what we want to do is we want to take one side, I'm sorry about that. So we want to take one side and I just took a lid from one of my jars, and what I want to do, let's do it this way here so we don't see the lines, is I want to create a little dip in the pocket. So what I'm going to do is just kind of take a pencil and kind of draw that shape there, and then just take your scissors and cut along that pencil mark. Okay. And then it creates this little pocket here. I'll just straighten this out in a little bit. You know what? I want to make the pocket a little deeper, so let me just do that again really quick here. It's a little too high. And the reason why you want to put the pencil marks on the back side, obviously so that you can't see it. So you always want to make sure you do that on the back side of the paper. Okay, so there's a deeper pocket there, and I'm just going to kind of fix. Okay. And because you don't want, you know, this back part to show, or this white part, that's why we have this piece, so we can sort of insert it there. I'm going to go ahead and tag punch the corners here. And I distressed the edges, so just a little bit, so I can just kind of okay. And then you just want to take this piece and, not having luck with adhesive today, kind of just add some adhesive on there and line it up. Okay. And then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and take, it's kind of crooked, your sticky strip, there. Oops. Okay, so you got that, and I'm going to go ahead and make the actual tag. So what you're going to need, and you know what, I totally forgot to punch out a circle, so I will be right back. So what you want to do is you need an actual circle